I'm going to Tandem RC to try to see if I can drift. You know, I can drift the tiny little drifters, my little minis, but what about this 10 scale? That's pretty much stock, and a lot of people are saying that it doesn't drift that great out the box, or, you know, it's not the best drifter. But you know what? Redcat graciously sent it to me, and I think I can work with it, and let's see how well we can get it to drift, and hopefully there's people in there that can help me out set this thing up. So let's go ahead and see how my first time at Tandem RC is like. And pulling up right here, Tandem RC's that corner little right under that dog training elite sign. That's Tandem RC.
As soon as I walked in, it was pretty intimidating. The track was really nice, and I was wondering if I could even make it around this thing. But as soon as I walked in, one of the guys that actually worked there walked in the same time as I did, and he was really helpful and really nice, and they set me up with some drift tires, so I had to go over here and pay for some track time. And you have spare parts everywhere here, even for the RDS, so I paid for track time and tires. Me trying to follow a tune drifter right here. I have no speed with this brushless system. This brushless system is definitely not meant for a track this big. And the backside right here where we're about to get to, you definitely need some speed back here, and I could hear all their boost and turbos turning on when they hit this corner right here, right where I'm about to hit. They're full on speed right through this whole backside. And I'm just, you know, it's just too much for the RDS. So here back on the track after doing some suspension adjustments and some preload adjustments. So I changed the suspension mounting points and some preloads, just the top mounting points. And it drifts pretty nice, but I can tell the tires are still hunting.
Yeah, the front tires hunting is annoying. But it's drifting.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to, I think in the next clip here, I'm going to go ahead and switch the gyro from like the slow return setting to the other setting. But I don't think it helps either way on this. It's just the gyro does not vibe with me at all, and it just does not work right for the way I want to drift, I guess. So I actually brought my DAS Micro V5 with me because I knew I wanted to try it on this 10 scale to see if it actually would outperform a 10 scale gyro. So yep, here it is installed right here. I just left the 10 scale gyro hanging on there, but it's not plugged in. It's just the DAS Micro V5. So immediately after just installing that gyro, I noticed a big difference right away, and I'm able to hold it sideways a lot better. But now I have to tune the chassis out a little bit. So it's still kind of hunting at the very end of the stroke, but I don't have the endpoints correctly set on this gyro yet. I just kind of skipped that step right now, just installing that gyro. So it's whatever endpoint I had it on with my little 18 scale is the endpoint it's set at, which is kind of overthrowing the servo a little bit, which is overheating the servo, and it might strip it. Hopefully not though. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's running right now with the DAS Micro V5. I'm pretty impressed with it, and it's gonna stay in there for now with this stock servo until I upgrade those two together with something better and get a censored brushless system in here, because yes, this track over here definitely got me addicted to RC drifting, and listening to all the other drifters out there, their cars just sounded so sweet when they're going down this backside I'm going down right now. They can make their drifters go through that so fast, and you can just hear it wailing in completely 90-degree front steering, and they're just sideways. And you know, the Redcat stock can't compete with it, but I did have a blast on this track with the Redcat RDS. It's definitely not a slacker, it's definitely tunable, and everyone there that either had one before or has seen it, none of them ever says that it's not a good drifter. They always says, yes, you know what, it's not good out the box, it needs some work, but after the work, I'm pretty sure it'll be good. So this is me back on the track right here. This is right after I finally blew out that front steering servo horn. That servo horn did strip out, and I did have to get the aluminum one. Luckily they have Redcat parts here, and I was able to get the aluminum one right there on the counter, install it right here, continue drifting for the day, and continue tuning. So I'm still not done with this thing. I did cut the caliper things to get more thorough at the front, and I'm still kind of working out some stuff to make this thing drift better. So I will give you guys some specs and stuff once I get it to drift better. Right now the specs I have, I don't want to share it because it's not going to drift good. So just, you know, bear with me. Once I get this thing set up to how I like it, maybe I can share my settings and see if you guys like how I set up my drifter. Is that a WPL? Heck yeah. Here's a DC-10 I'm chasing down right here, the Team Associated rig. And this one is being helped. Somebody's helping this guy tune this one right now. And he is the same guy that's going to help me in just a second right here. You can see him right there in the gray t-shirt. He's the one driving that DC-10 right now. And I'm trying to follow it, but obviously my setup is not as good as that one. And that thing is fully decked out with some pretty nice equipment. And you know, mine is pretty close to stock except for the drift gyro. But it's pretty fun still. I had a blast trying to keep up. Here I'm trying to follow another guy, also another beginner. So, you know, I'm trying to just stick with people that probably are in my level of drifting. But I've never been on the track before, so pretty much on par, I believe, or, you know, they're probably a little bit better than me because of their nicer car setups. But, man, I can't wait to set this thing up and possibly get a second rig. Do they call these rigs? Now here I'm back out again after tuning one more time, and here's just the front suspension. I just decided to try to put it back closer to stock. It kind of lifted the front end up a little bit, and I removed my little limit stoppers for the front end to try to see if I can get more angle out of it, but I definitely need to change some stuff in the front end to get this to have more angle. And everyone I talk to over there is definitely saying, you know, gyro and servo, and they're saying you probably can get away with the system I have, but it is kind of slow right here in the backside that I'm about to hit. When you get to this corner right here, I'm just full throttle trying to get sideways, and sometimes it goes sideways, and sometimes that's what happens. Well, here he is taking control of my car and, you know, helping me out. All these guys were really nice, and sorry to all of them for not remembering names. I'm really bad at that, but, you know, the more I show up, the more I'll remember.
So, like, you wanted to, like, the front end to stay solid, but do this.
So far it's all the usual suspects for the RDS. It's the front links, all the suspension stuff. You know, they're binding a little bit, the A-arms, top arms. There's a little bit of binding going on, and you kind of have to work it out, shave a little bit of the little shims, and you're gonna have to work out the ball links to get them to free up, because that all binds up and causes this thing not to drift that well. But once you free most of those things up, it starts to get better. And I started freeing it up ever so slightly during my run this day, but when I went home this night, I did sort out the front end a little bit more, and it's freeing up a lot better. And I think if I can just stay with that and make it free up more, I can get this thing to drift pretty well with all stock components. But I do kind of want to change some things to get more angle out of it, because man, those angles they're getting over there, it was really sweet, and I was like, oh, I wish I could get those angles, man. Well, there you go, guys. That was my first time at Tandem RC. I had a lot of fun. Everyone over there was pretty awesome. It really made me feel like, you know, I really should get into this, because everyone was really helpful. And I didn't feel intimidated, but you know, the very first second I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness. And then right after that, it was just fun. So everyone over there was pretty cool, and everyone just wants to have fun. So I had a lot of fun. The RDS definitely needs some work, but everyone over there said I can get this thing to drift pretty well. Everyone stayed positive, and I had a very good time. Thanks again for watching, guys. As usual, stay safe out there, go have fun, and run that RC.